Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so great to be connecting with all of you. What a great show we've got planned for everybody out there today. If you're enjoying your day, we want to just wish you an amazing, amazing brisk fall day for many of us here. But for those of you in other parts of the country, you're still enjoying the heat of the summer, from what I understand. It's going to get a little heated up here today on the show, too. We're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about relationships. What do we mean when we look at what relationships have come to mean in this day and age? You know, talking relationships today with Dr. Joseph Cardillo, we're going to be thinking about the good old days. What was it like when you were out there and could walk the beach and hold your partner's hand and, you know, enjoy your time together, minds and bodies just all connected. The energy from those early stages of relationships. Yeah. How do we get to recapture those? Well, today, best-selling author Dr. Joseph Cardillo is joining me here today so that we can look at how we can create that juiciness and make sure that we keep it vibrant. Today, I get to talk with him. He is the author of Body Intelligence, Harness Your Body's Energies for Your Best Life. Why is this important? Well, it is important for a lot of reasons, but mostly because we kind of take our energy for granted in a lot of ways. You know, we forget how much we're putting out into the world and don't really look at how we're storing things up for ourselves. Do you ever find yourself at the end of the day thinking, I barely have any energy left for myself, let alone for everything else going on here? Walk the beach? You got to be kidding me. Dr. Joseph Cardillo joining me here today. Inspirational speaker, sought-after energy teacher. And by the way, this is something that it's not just about the book. It's about how Dr. Cardillo helps people across the globe pay attention and change their lives. Dr. Cardillo, welcome. It's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us in the show today. I mean, this is the conundrum, right? To be able to pay attention to anybody after the kind of schedules we have.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. It's always such a pleasure.
Oh, boy. You know, I was saying to somebody a little bit ago that you'd have thought by the end of yesterday that we were at the end of the football season. I was watching people just go absolutely crazy. It was like the first day of football. And people are like oh no, they won. Oh no, they lost. Oh no, they didn't play good enough. Oh, no. This was day one of football. Our energy. What are we doing here with all of this?
Well, you know, some people are doing a good job, and some people could use a little help. So,
but what do you think about the statement I made about all of the energy we seem to be putting out, whether we knowingly put it out or not? Sometimes, as someone said to me, our energy could be being sucked out by other people. And I wanted you to perhaps address that. We think we have control of what's happening to ourselves and what's happening to our body. But your book is called Body Intelligence, and how to really harness that. What are the effects that the environment and other people have on our energy, on our
Well,
relationships?
enormous. And again, it's true. Just like you said, whether we're aware of it or not, it's happening. It's affecting us. It's kind of like, I've been thinking about really simple examples of this, and it's kind of like, if everybody knows by now that the way we think and the way we feel throughout the day affects our physical health. We all know this, but now just kind of expand that into a family. Well, expand it into a relationship, and expand it into a family, and expand it into a community even. And then you can keep expanding it larger and larger, into a state, a country, a world. And the energy that we feel mentally, psychically, really, and how it affects our body, same thing. If you're in a relationship, the energy that the relationship is feeling affects the people in the relationship, the family and the community, and so on. So even a community, in a way, it has a mutual mindset or a common mindset, and that mindset affects the physical health of the community, which then in turn affects the mental health of the community, and it becomes cyclical. And and then things happen, and we create our daily lives off of that, and we create history.
Yeah. Many of us have gone through ups and downs, ins and outs about life, about relationships.
Okay.
And we hear so much now in the world about the stress factor. How and when people look at the quote stress factor, it usually points to how we are in the world with either another person or a multitude of people.
Mm-hmm.
I did a study back in 1997, 98, 99, and 2000. And the study showed that people don't quit their jobs because of the job. They quit their job because of their bosses. And everything about that environment was the most important relationship they had, the relationship between themselves and their bosses.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and that was new research, believe it or not, that we had to actually do 8 years of research to make that statement. But for you, doesn't that sound like common sense? That as people, we have such an enormous effect on each other, don't we?
Yeah, we do, and and again, the effect is is positive or negative, and we have a sense of it pretty quickly too.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us, have met people, and we have a certain feeling right away,
Mm-hmm.
about that individual, and that feeling that we have, that doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't mean that feeling is accurate, but we have it right away. And it's going to affect us, and it's going to affect the way we relate with that individual, and interestingly, with other individuals that we start to relate to that individual.
Well, you talk about perception in your book, and I want to get right to that because, perception is really important in the conversation of what we're having. I mean, it's so important that we look at an action of another person and we have a viewpoint of what that is or what it isn't. And most people believe that perception really is reality. And if we could change our perception, we could change a lot of things. I'd love for you to talk about this because you talk about the 3 energy levels here.
Yeah, and our perceptions are real. I mean, they're that. They're our reality for the moment. But there's a lens there. We're looking at whatever we're involved in through that particular lens that we'll call perception, and so in a relationship, a lot of things guided by our perception could could lead us to, positive reactions or negative. One of the examples I like to give is facial expressions. And, our perception of facial expressions is largely based on what we've experienced in the past. And a facial expression can change your energy in an instant, in a millisecond. If somebody smiles at you, it changes your energy. If somebody frowns at you, it changes your energy yet again. But there are different kinds of facial expressions too. So, for example, if let's say you're in a relationship with somebody, and the individual rolls their eyes or closes their eyes when you're talking, and so your perception tells you, oh, that person isn't interested in what I'm saying, or that person is mocking what I'm saying, or something like that. That's based on previous experiences. That person may not be doing that at all. That person may actually be listening closer, or that person might just be thinking about some other thought they're having about what you're thinking and making that. So it doesn't necessarily mean what you think it means. And in relationships, if we really try to remember that perception will guide our emotions, and then what happens next is going to happen really fast, I think that we can try to perhaps have a better understanding of the other person first.
Well, we're going to talk about this and a lot more. When we come back, we're going to talk about what is a healthy relationship. And, what does that even begin to resonate with each of us? Have we gotten along so much so by agreeing to settle that we don't recognize what juicy relationships are all about? Let's take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back. Great to have Dr. Joseph Cardillo joining us here today. We'll be right back with the show. Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days, because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Tune in to the Angels and Answers Psychic Radio Show with clairvoyants Artie Hoffman and Sky Siegel every Thursday for a 2-hour show, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio. Artie and Sky deliver spiritual and motivational messages with passion and a sense of humor. Call in 800-930-2819 for live and on-air readings. Visit artiehoffman.com and skyofangels.com.
Are you ready to stop stress, anxiety, and low self-esteem from running your life? Join award-winning author Dr. Friedemann Schaub for Empowerment Radio and learn breakthrough solutions to switch out of survival mode and approach every day with great ease, joy, and purpose. Tune in the first and third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific to Empowerment Radio with host Dr. Friedemann Schaub on Transformation Talk Radio. Visit thefearandanxietysolution.com to learn more.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Almost everyone at some time in their lives ask themselves, what am I? Most of our questions are ego-generated and simply don't address the problem of our false self. It's time to relax your ego and embody your soul. Dr. Dan Cohen, neurologist, inventor, and author, has created tools to awaken a new way to transform from who you thought you were into what you truly are. Visit toolstoawaken.com today.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. You're tuning in to and listening to the Dr. Pat Show. Today, we're talking relationships with Dr. Joseph Cardillo. And this is really important because for many people, you know, if you look at what people are saying in the latest polls that are out there and the research out there, we all of a sudden have gotten willing to settle. That's really what's happening. We think that if I could just blah, 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 I'm going to be okay. But is that really true? Are we not interested in love and juiciness and healthy relationships now? Or maybe the polls are wrong. That's why Dr. Joseph Cardillo is joining me here today. Before we talk about healthy relationships, how can people get a copy of your book? How can they find out more about you?
Well, you can go to my website, which is www.josephcardillo.com, or you can find Body Intelligence at most bookstores, Barnes and Noble, Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, the independent stores, and so on. So you can find them there, or you can even find them on my website, which will connect you to those places.
Awesome. Thank you for joining me here today. Relationships. Busy, not having a lot of time for this, not having a lot of time for that. Let's start out with healthy relationships, and then we can weave through the idea of the various types of relationships there are. There's a relationship that, you know, you have with your loved one, the relationship you have with your children, then your parents, then, of course, now let's look at the workplace. I mean, the bottom line is their relationships. What is a healthy relationship? Where do we start with that?
Well, I think a healthy relationship, I mean, just from the word, you know, that we're relating to one another. So a healthy relationship needs to begin with mindfulness. You don't want that part to be haphazard. So I think a healthy relationship has to begin with mindfulness. And so mindfulness of what? And I like to start with the idea of compassion. And you know, if you take a look at the word compassion, it comes from two different words. It comes from the word CO or COM, which refers to shared or doing something together, again, in relationship. And what are we sharing but passion? So I look at the word compassion as meaning a shared passion between two or more people. And so when we have passions that are similar, that we share, and we build on those passions, I think that that's the beginning of a healthy relationship. And of course, somewhere in that growing stage, from the beginning, really throughout all the growth of the relationship, I think that there has to be some really, you know, close listening to partners, and I think that with that kind of listening, really objective, close listening, I think comes a deeper understanding. You know, and I think that's one of the things that as relationships grow, I think that that we tend to take for granted. That, you know, we're growing, our partners are growing, and so there's always a need for further understanding of the other person, and that again is going to come from listening. So then I think that once we understand the other individual, and once we share passions with that individual, once we listen to that individual, then we can start to build off of each other's talents, and mindfully take the relationship to great places.
Mm-hmm. One of the things you talk about in the book is energy and energy ratio, and I mean, we're not all out there competing 24/7 in the relationships we're in, but yet we look at how we engage in those relationships, and sometimes power struggles show up. I mean, that's a reality. Power struggles show up. Now,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we can be more mindful of them. Is there anything? Is there such a thing as healthy power in situations of relationship?
Yeah, I think that there are healthy that there's healthy power, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that there's healthy aggression. But I can define healthy power like this: that I think that our energy, the energy that we have, is not just up and down. It's not just I'm feeling high or
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling low. Although those are important energies because we can balance each other out with those energies. But I think that all the other energies that we're subject to, energies that organize us, energies that balance our emotions, energies that make us creative, those kinds of energies that make us emotionally strong or physically strong. All those kinds of energies can be brought to bear in a relationship, and the energies themselves, the energies that influence us, that say an energy that influences me to bring me, say, out of a sad mindset, can be used with my partner to help bring her out of her sad mindset if she falls into one. So I think that there is a use of power in the right way. An energy that I use for organizational purposes could be used with my partner to help my partner, become more organized when she needs it, if she needs organization, if she's scrambling, for example, and vice versa. She can do these things for me, too, so it's kind of like a little bit of magic in a way.
Yeah. Well, you talk about this in the book. I mean, in your book, Body Intelligence, you talk about energy partners and energy vampires. Really, really a great topic, powerful topic. And, I think it's important to really talk about what the distinction is, because maybe it's just me, but I know I've been in relationships where I thought it was an energy partnership, and it was not. So I wonder if there is this fine line that dissects energy partner versus energy vampire, or if it's more obvious and I just been asleep at the switch.
Well, I think, there's there's so much we can say about that, and I do in my book. But I think that briefly, we've probably all encountered somebody that just sucks the life out of us. Sometimes, let's just say at work or something like that, or even, at play sometimes, we just encounter those kind of people that just suck the life out of us.
Yeah.
And then we know what people also we have to be near that, that will elate us when we need to be elated. We have a sense of this kind of thing. So, to me, when I use the term energy vampire, it's that person that just is, leaving you sapped and walking away. But the energy vampire is on receive mode most of the time. It's on
Meaning
receive
that
mode.
they're
And
sucking
so
instead of giving.
Exactly. But then there's another, that's how I use the term in the book. But, there's another type of energy vampire as well, and that's the person who is delivering to you. This is a person, body intelligence is about being aware of the energies that surround us and how to access them. And so, the other kind of energy vampire is the individual who is just not being very mindful at all to the energies that you might need in a given situation, and in fact could be and often is delivering just the opposite of what you need. So for example, if you need a calming energy at a particular moment, that individual is not being very mindful at all, is delivering chaos, for example.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, delivering chaos. See, we recognize chaos. We don't recognize some of the nuances of what this means to be plugged in to this energy vampirism. But here's the thing I want to ask you about when we come back from break. I mean, isn't it like the story of the frog? This is really the weirdest analogy. I don't even like using it. But there is this story of the frog that, listen, if you take a frog and throw a frog into hot water, that frog is going to jump out. But if you put a frog in cold water and you slowly turn the heat up, the frog will adapt. Isn't that the same of relationships? Are we literally adaptogens, even if the life is being sucked out of us? We're going to take a short break. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what Dr. Joseph Cardillo has to say. 1-800-930-2819 if you want to weigh in on this one. 1-800-930-2819. Which one are you? Are you the frog in the cold water? Are you the frog? Oopsie. That's a little bit hot for my liking. We'll be right back.
Adaptogen.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine. It's always surprising where we feel like a victim. We hate that word, but it's a chance to shift that energy where we want something out there to fix us. We are coming from within with the shift. When we find these spots, we get alarmed, but we can allow Source, our higher self, and our will to change that intention into empowerment. Choose today to allow that. Choose to forgive yourself and choose to be totally responsible. Are you ready to shift into your best life? Visit lesliefontaine.com and let's talk about unfolding all that you want to be, do, and have. You'll find sessions, classes, and audio products to help remove the blocks and move you into your potential. And listen to my show, Sheer Alchemy, on Transformation Talk Radio, Wednesdays at 10 Pacific, 1 Eastern.
Francine Vale is a being of light. She believes that all people of planet Earth are as well. As co-host of the Angel Healer radio show, Francine teaches you heart-centered ways to manifest healing on your own behalf and how to integrate love more fully into your daily life. Connect with your angels as you find your life flowing with ease and harmony. Walk the path of light with Francine and Dr. Pat Basili every month on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
It's that time of the year again. The Woman of Wisdom Fall Harvest Festival is right around the corner. Join us on October 1st from 10:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. at North Seattle Community College Conference Center. Admission is free. Festivities include arts and crafts, energy healers, intuitive readers, delicious food, and more. Don't miss this fun-filled event. For more information, visit womanofwisdom.org. That is womanofwisdom.org. And we'll see you there.
Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers, with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com.
Get into it for 2016. Do you want more prosperity, clarity, energy, and balance in your life? Join Lynn Brown now for one of her amazing workshops, each focusing on a key part of living your best life. For more information and to register for one of these amazing workshops, visit lynnbrownevent.com. That's lynnbrownevent.com. And get into it this 2016 with Lynn Brown.
Adaptogen.
I love that. That's one of my favorite words. But that's because we're talking with Dr. Joseph Cardillo today. Of course, he is the author, and I've mentioned this now several times, this fabulous book, Body Intelligence, Harness Your Body's Energy for Your Best Life. Today we're taking on a conversation of relationships. And I'm curious to hear what you think about what I said. I would imagine that we are pretty much, I'm not the only frog that got put in the cold water here and just didn't have the sense to get out, even though it was starting to heat up. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm the only one on the planet that ever did
No,
that.
I think we all go through that one probably several times over.
Yeah.
from our teenage years.
Yeah, that word adaptogen is a word that's used for foods like maca, really healthy foods. And I think we are adaptogens sometimes, that we adapt almost to a fault. And I want to ask you if you could talk to that so that we can understand when the water is getting too hot and perhaps we should get out.
Yeah. So where do you want to start on? I think that I agree with you so much that we become and really, I mean, even seriously risky relationships. We know that that partners adapt and don't really lose perspective in a way. And adapt to things that sometimes if you were to look at it objectively, or someone who is not part of that relationship would look at that and say, "My God, how can you do that?" I think if that's the type of thing you're talking.
That's what I'm asking. How do we even begin to decipher this? Because if I am the frog in the cold water, I'm not aware that I am in deep trouble here. That, wait a minute, we used to maybe have this energy partnership thing going on. You talk about in the book, but it's feeling a little bit like the Twilight series here right now. You know what I'm saying? It's feeling a little bit like, one of the not so good vampires.
Some things are just, some things are are louder and more obvious than others. A situation like domestic violence, for example, or even verbal violence. These kind of things are way more obvious in many sense, but people adapt to that too. But I think that when we were talking about earlier, listening to each other in a relationship, I think that there's a point, a constant mindfulness, really. Almost a daily practice where we have to introspect and kind of check in with ourselves personally, and ask ourselves, how are we feeling? How are things going? How are our dreams evolving? Is there a share? The language that we were using early in our conversation when I talked about compassion and understanding. And listening. These are energies. They are energies in and of themselves. And when we do that, when we are compassionate, when we do understand, and when we do listen, when we love unconditionally, when we do these things, when we accept the other individual and tolerate the other individual's differences, when we do that, we feel better. We feel healthier. Those energies keep us healthy, and they keep the other person healthy as well. I think that as we're listening to ourselves or delving into ourselves to see if our needs are being met, some of the introspection that we can do is to ask ourselves, do we have shared passions? Are these passions building? Have they stopped building? And then to look at those things closely. The next question would be, if the answer is no, then the next question is why. And if the answer is yes, then the next question is also why and how. And that way we start to understand how that building mechanism is occurring, and once we understand how it's occurring, we can encourage more of it, and we can use more of it as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're looking at taking the pieces and putting them together, then what we get to do is what you talked about before. We get to not only change our perception, but we get to change our actions. We get to change our behavior. We get to change some of the things that we probably were out of touch with. You know, in the book, you refer to 5 emotions. And I want to talk about these 5 emotions because they play right in to the idea of relationships, right? You know,
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about what the 5 emotions are and how they inform the body and what happens when these emotions are not in the place that's going to nurture the partnership and, in fact, will fuel the vampirism going on here.
Sure. For one thing, I want to say before we even get into that discussion that in terms of emotion triggers our actions in a millisecond, and lasts for at least 20 minutes in our bodies, and longer than that, of course, in our minds, sometimes permanently. But I want to say that, you know, if and I write about this in the book as well in regard to emotions, don't ever, this is a warning, don't ever try to use reason against emotion, because you'll never win. So you'll never win. Emotion will not change its mind, even with reason. So logic won't help you out in that case. If your partner is emotional in the wrong way, wait at least 20 minutes before you start again. And do some deep listening to try to figure out, what's going on there. But, if you want to look at some of the essential emotions, we could start with joy or anger, either one of those. I think that joy is important because when we share joy, it's an energy that keeps us elated. It keeps us light. It gives us the comfort we need, when we're dealing with other things as well in our life. So, if we practice joy in our relationship and do the things that bring that to us, then when we go beyond our relationship, it develops a strong, energetic coping mechanism for yourself. So, and we could take a look at anger too.
Well, let's take a look at anger. Do you think anybody's having any anger issues these days?
Oh, of course not. But anger deteriorates. It's going to do the absolute opposite of joy, and it gets you nowhere. I think that we have to recognize the emotion, and then we have to deal with it. With that's an emotion that we really want to shut down, because it's going to, if you even look at the psychological and the physiological effects of anger, I mean, the list of bad health possibilities goes on and on and on. I mean, everything from high blood pressure to, cardiovascular disease. There was just a report that was published. I think it was last week. And it was talking about people in relationship who express their anger in loud and dramatic ways with each other, and the cardiovascular effects that has on each individual, and how that kind of anger promotes things like heart attack and sudden death and so on. So, anger is one of those emotions we really have to subside it. But on the flip side, anger tells us that there may be something wrong. Mm-hmm. And, not necessarily, again, because that's where perception comes in, right? Mm-hmm. But, so we should be aware of that.
But it leads to conflict. I mean, what we're talking about here really is, well, wait a minute. If we got the little anger going on and we're not so much of an adaptogen at the moment, and we got the anger going on, and it's vocalized as anger, Well, sometimes you can work with it. But what happens when anger is not vocalized? What happens if the elephant is in the room and it's called serious conflict? Whether it's on what you should serve for dinner, or whether or not you should be the one to take out the garbage. All of the above. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, what are some of the tools that we can use to settle some of this conflict? What can we do if all of a sudden we're not seeing the thing in the room, but before we know it, it's right there in front of us and we're getting ready to implode? That's what Dr. Joseph Cardillo is going to tell us when we come back. We'll be right back. We'll be right back to tackle that.
Still up asleep. I got the sheets on the floor, nothing on me. And I can't take it no more. It's 100 degrees.
Have you felt a lot of fear and self-doubt in your life where you feel like you never know what's right for you? As a result, maybe you've made yourself invisible or haven't fully put yourself out there. Hi, my name is Deb Acker. In addition to being the host of Truth Talk Radio, I'm an intuitive life coach and energy healer. I clear energy blocks to all areas of life, including stepping into your power to be confident and visible in your relationships and the world. Did you know fear, self-doubt, feeling invisible, and not feeling comfortable to put yourself out there are all linked to not being in your power? What if you could always feel powerful and on purpose at all times? I used to spend a lot of time hiding in fear and self-doubt. Now I'm not afraid to put myself out there on a bigger scale, and most importantly, I know what's right for me in every moment, and I take action accordingly. On the other side, I now help others with this, and if you're ready to be powerful and confident and let go of the fear that holds you back from a bigger life, I'd love to gift you with my pattern identification session. Simply contact me on the contact page of my website, DeborahAcker.com. That's DeborahAcker.com. And let me know you heard about this gift through Transformation Talk Radio. I look forward to connecting soon.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Suzanne Evans. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
Holistic Medical Center is where you find it all. A healthy space with doctors who care, see, and listen to the whole you. Hi, this is Dr. Darvish. If you have not found an answer to your chronic symptoms, you will find answers here at Holistic Medical Center. Our doctors find the root cause of your symptoms and guide your body towards healing naturally. We transform lives from within. Visit drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
In retirement, will you outlive your money? It's a common question for people approaching retirement, but it doesn't need to weigh on you. Ask Ameriprise financial advisor Jeff Packman about the new Confident Retirement Approach. You and Jeff can break down retirement planning step by step to get the real answers you need. In fact, 93% of clients who have had the Confident Retirement Approach conversation feel more confident about their retirement. Call Jeff Packman, financial advisor, at 425-453-0272 for your Confident Retirement conversation today. Office is located at 601 108th Avenue Northeast, Suite 1800, Bellevue, Washington, 98004. Percentage based on Ameriprise Financial Confident Retirement Client Survey as of December 2013. The Confident Retirement Approach is not a guarantee of future financial results. Investment advisory products and services are made available through Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated. A registered investment advisor, Ameriprise Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA and SIPC.
Everyone, welcome back. It's so great to have all of you tune us in, turn us on. We're talking relationships right now with Dr. Joseph Cardillo. And, this is the part where you and I get to chat about how do we turn this around? What is it that's going to help? Whether or not you see that there is something going on in the room that you're either willing to address or you're just going to sizzle and implode. But there are ways and tools that everyone can learn about not just how to deal with it, but how to take a situation that otherwise you might walk away from and get some juiciness going on.
Okay, and the reason that we want to turn it around and have to turn it around really one way or another, the reason we have to do that is because when we're in conflict, what conflict really is that we've been in a state of tension. We've been in a state of tension for a while, and it's starting to create stress, and it's starting to make us physically and mentally unhealthy, but also it's kind of squelching our spirit as well. And that's why we have to take control of that kind of thing. What we're doing is when we don't take control, we're blocking our own energy and our partner's energy, each other's energy, and we're blocking the highest, most quality energy that we could have. And it's that block that's keeping us from having the energy, that pure, good energy that we all experienced when we first met our partners. So one thing that we can do, and I'm so happy to give this advice to your listeners. One thing that we could do to try to spin ourselves out of a conflict is to mindfulness will help. So if we mindfully, take a look at the situation that we found ourselves in, that we've landed into, if we mindfully take a look at the situation and look into it, kind of try to be objective, try to be more listening than transmitting into the situation. So try to look into the situation objectively, almost as if it wasn't even you, and look at what's at stake in the conflict. So take a look at what's at stake. What is it that we're in conflict over, and how is that affecting things in general for the two partners? Then the next thing that I would ask people to do is to visualize what actions they attempted in the first place. What were you trying to do that created the conflict? What were you trying to do? And then the next thing that I would ask you to do is to ask what action created the conflict at that point. So here I am trying to do something, maybe decide on a career change, and then what is it in the conversation about, say, am I trying to decide on a career change that sparked conflict with my partner? And then another question might be, what did I try to do to calm the conflict down at that very point? So, most conflicts begin here. I'm just trying to do something. I'm trying to explain a desire for a career change to my partner. The next thing I know, we're in conflict. What did I do in my attempt to add or to create that conflict? Where is it actually coming from? And then what did I do to try to calm it down? The next thing that I would ask you to do after that is to ask how others feel. How do they feel right then and there when you were trying to calm it down? How did others or your partner feel at that particular moment? If there was anybody else around, how did they feel at that particular moment? And then to take a slow look at the whole process that we just talked about, and then to ask, what can I do to proceed to a better resolution next time we talk about thus and thus? So, I'll repeat that because I think people can use this. I think people can use this as a way to resolve their own conflicts, that mindfully look at the situation, see what's at stake, visualize what actions you attempted in the first place, visualize what you did that might have launched the conflict, then visualize what you did to try to calm the conflict down, if anything, and then how do others feel who are in this situation with you, and then how could you proceed to better resolution next time this comes up, this situation comes up. And that should help.
One of the things you talk about in the book is plug your energy drain. Let's chat about that, because I think that is pretty important, whether you're in a relationship with a partner or you're in a relationship with work. I mean, this seems like if we can learn how to put the plug right in there to that energy drain, it will give us enough breathing room so that we can literally take those next steps and think about.
Yeah,
what
that's
should
right.
I do here?
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that sometimes gets left out of conversations like this is that when we're trying to be mindful, when we're trying to listen, when we're trying to understand, we have to have energy. You can't listen very well if you don't have energy, and it's got to be good quality energy. So one of the things that we can do is we can plug our energy drains. I ask people all the time to just take a day and go through the whole day and chart down any way you want. Just even make a list. You know, in the morning I felt like this, and I really needed this kind of energy. In the afternoon I felt like this, and it was okay. By later afternoon, I felt tired, but I really needed more energy. So chart your day with how you're feeling and what your energy needs would be at that time of day, and then you can see if at certain parts of the day you're not getting the energy that you need to live the robust life that we would like to live, and to supplement and really drive our actions. Once we've identified the kind of energy that we need, another thing we might take a look at is, here are the places I went today, here are the things that I did. What in that picture is taking energy away from me? So, I wake up and I have some gentle conversation with my partner, and that actually energizes me. So we know that when we need energy, something like that is so easily available to us. Then maybe we got loud with each other, and then that affected me not only for that moment, but maybe for the rest of the day. So I know that at least right away when I'm going to go to work, for example, I am not going to get into any. It's going to be peace at all costs, because you'll see the trail of how that energy drains you throughout the rest of the day. So it's kind of interesting to just take a look at the little things that we do throughout the day, particularly those with our partner, and how they either add to our energy gains or how they either add to our energy drains.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for today's show. Again, let folks know how they can get a copy of the book and also how they can find out more about you. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Your show's great. I love it.
Awesome. Thank you.
My book is available at most bookstores, independent or Barnes & Noble stores. You can get it on barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com, or you can go to www.josephcardillo.com and find out about my books and things that are coming up lately and things like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning us in and turning us on. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time. And remember, we've got another hour coming up on transformationtalkradio.com. We'll see you next time.
Preceding audio was via a Skype call.